Psalm 78. I just opened this random. This is what I got. My people, hear my teaching. Listen to the words of my mouth. I will open my mouth with a parable. I will utter hidden things, things from old, things we have heard and known, things our ancestors have told us. We will not hide them from our descendants. We will tell the next generation the praiseworthy deeds of the Lord, his power, and the wonders he has done. He decreed statutes for Jacob and established the law in Israel, which he commanded our ancestors to teach the children, so the next generation would know him, even the children yet to be born. And they in turn would tell their children. Then they would put their trust in God and would not forget his deeds and would keep his commandments. They would not be like their ancestors, a stubborn and rebellious generation whose hearts were not loyal to God. When the spirits were not faithful to him, the men of Ephraim who were armed with bows turned back on the day of battle. They did not keep God's covenant and they refused to live by his law. They forgot what he'd done, the wonders he had shown them. He did miracles in the sight of their ancestors in the land of Egypt, in the region of Zon. He divided the sea and led them through. He made the water stand up like a wall, and he guided them with a cloud by day and with light from the fire all night. He split the rocks in the wilderness and gave them waters as abundant as the seas. He brought streams out of the rocky crag, and he made water flow down like rivers. But they continued to sin against him, rebelling in the wilderness against the Most High. They willfully put God to the test by demanding the food they craved. They spoke against God. They said, "Can God really spread a table in the wilderness?" True, he struck the rock and the water gushed out. The streams flowed abundantly. But can he also give us bread? Can he supply meat for his people? When the Lord heard them, he was furious. His fire broke out against Jacob, and his wrath rose against Israel. For they did not believe in God or trust in his deliverance. Yet he gave a command to the skies above the open doors of the heavens. He rained down manna for the people to eat. He gave them grain of heaven. Human beings ate the bread of the angels, and he sent them all the food they could eat. He let loose the east wind from the heavens, and by his power made the south wind blow. He rained meat down on them like dust, birds like sand on the seashore. He made them come down from inside their camp, all around their tents. They ate till they were gorged. He had given them all what they had craved. But before they turned from what they had craved, even while the food was still in their mouths, God's anger rose against them. He put to death the sturdiest among them, cutting down the young men of Israel. In spite of all this, they kept on sinning. In spite of his wonders, they did not believe. So he ended their days in futility and their years in terror. Whenever God slew them, they would seek him. They eagerly turned to him again, remembered that God was their rock, that God Most High was their Redeemer. But then they would flatter him with their mouths, lying to him with their tongues. Their hearts were not loyal to him. They were not faithful to his covenant. Yet he was merciful. He forgave their iniquities, and he did not destroy them. Time after time he restrained his anger, but he did not stir up his full wrath. He remembered that they were but flesh, a passing breeze that does not return. How often they rebelled against him in the wilderness and grieved him in the wasteland. Again and again they put God to the test. They vexed the Holy One of Israel. They did not remember his power, the day he redeemed them from the oppressor. The day he displayed his signs in Egypt, his wonders in the region of Zoan, he turned the river into blood. They could not drink from the streams. He sent swarms of flies that devoured them, and frogs that devastated them. He gave crops to the grasshopper. Their produced to the locust. He destroyed their vines with hail and their sycamore figs with sleet. He gave over their cattle to the hail, their livestock to bolts of lightning. He unleashed them against him. His hot anger, his wrath, indignation, hostility, and a band of destroying angels. He prepared the path for his anger. He did not spare them from death, but gave them over to the plague. He struck down all the firstborn in Egypt, the firstfruits of manhood and the tents of Ham. But he brought his people out like a flock. He led them like sheep through the wilderness, and he guided them safely, so they were unafraid. But the sea engulfed their enemies, and so he brought them to the border of his holy land, to the hill country his right hand had taken. He drove out the nations before him, and allotted their lands as an inheritance. He settled the tribes of Israel in their homes, but they put God to the test again, and they rebelled against the Most High. They did not keep his statutes like their ancestors. Like their ancestors, they were disloyal and faithless and unreliable as a faulty bow. They angered him with their high places. They aroused the jealousy with their idiots. Then God heard them. He was furious, and he rejected Israel completely. And now they're planning to hang people who are Hamas. There's kids of 10-year-old in prison, and they're going to hang them. They're going to hang kids. They're going to hang little children who are in army prisons, martial law. It's illegal for anybody to fight in any army full combat until they're 18. And they can't join till 15 and 9 months. That's a British standard. And children soldiers are illegal, so they can't be charged in army prisons as soldiers and treated like prisoners of war, where they're sexually abused by the settlers who run the prisons. Dirty, evil beasts. And I don't care about swearing. I swear to God, they're a bunch of bastards. And what does it say there? Like their ancestors, they were disloyal, as unreliable as a faulty bow. They angered him in their high places. They aroused his jealousy with their idiots. When God heard them, he was furious. He rejected Israel completely.